If you never teach your kid about safe sex, you have no right to complain if they get pregnant. Many parents like to dance around the topic of sex or just briefly go over it instead of fully teaching the kid about safe sex. Also, just telling them to abstain will not help if they actually do have sex and have not been taught how to have it safely. If a child gets pregnant and was never taught about safe sex, the parent has no right to complain about the pregnancy and should be held responsible. Can you rely on school sex ed? That's what mine did to me. Many parents don't even know about safe sex themselves. Kids should always know what sex is, and they should be told when their kids ask. That's why it's always been drilled into me, what sex is, how to do it safely, and the consequences if you don't do it safely. I feel like most parents just kinda say this is sex, don't do it, or even less by not explaining anything at all. Maybe it's just me, but I'd much rather be a loser by not having sex at 15 than become pregnant or get an STD. Like there's this girl about a grade or two above me who brings her baby to school sometimes, and luckily my school is really great about that stuff, but somehow that's better because "aw, cute baby." Doesn't make sense. I'm not ready for a child, I'm fucking 15, and I'd rather go through precautions to not have to do that yet, like not just fucking anyone whenever the opportunity arises. My parents never taught me about sex ever, so that's probably why I never have any. The same principle applies to Christian conservatives who bitch about abortion rates while simultaneously lobbying against legislation that would allow sex ed teachers to talk about contraception. I have had many conversations with my high school students about birth control and they know so little. I teach foreign language, but they have told me multiple times that I have taught them more than health did. I had to do all my research on my own after not knowing anything and getting blood clots from birth control. Parents still don't know that's the reason. Schools should be better, but states and districts are all over the place. My parents didn't even tell me anything LMAO. I went to Catholic school. Health class didn't even touch on sex ed. Yes, just 15 years ago they thought we would abstain until marriage, no questions asked. Small public school in Indiana. No safe sex info until we had 5 pregnant girls in my junior class. Luckily I worked as a stagehand and the stage manager took me under his, very gay and not interested in female me in any way, wing and made sure I knew what was what. Teaching abstinence is the worst way to teach kids about sex. Towns where they only teach abstinence have higher STD and teen pregnancy rates. https://www. google.com/amp/s/www. Denver Post. com/2012/07/05/abstinence vs sex education/amp/. If it's a boy, you always should complain if they get pregnant. This sounds harsh, but my mom straight up told me if I got pregnant, she'd kick me out the house just like her mother kicked her out when she got pregnant as a teen. My mom isn't about bullshit and I knew she'd do it. I'm a Christian. I was raised in a Christian family. I don't believe in premarital sex. I was still taught about safe sex, and I will teach my kids about safe sex. It doesn't matter what you want for your child, they are still their own person. It's a parent's job to prepare their kids for life, regardless of what path they choose. Then they force their kids to step up and be adults by potentially ruining their own futures or making them struggle severely mentally, physically, emotionally, scholarly, and monetarily. Or you can just have ugly and psychologically messed up children who will never have sex. If you're lucky, they'll do it to themselves. Then you won't have to worry about your kids ever having sex. Yep. My parents had a policy with me and all 4 of my siblings. If you need condoms, ask. They won't say anything. They'll just get them. They'd rather pay for condoms than be a grandparent early in life. Agreed. Kids are learning about sex from porn and from their friends, and neither of those are very good sources. My husband and I have had this very conversation with our teen child. Our child was awkward about having a very open discussion, but we feel it's important to teach sex positivity, inclusivity, and how to have safe sex, physically, emotionally, and mentally. We want our child to know they can come directly to us with any questions or concerns, no judgment. I wish more parents would support and educate their children about sex. No one wants to particularly imagine their child engaging in it, but it's a part of life and it's our job to prepare them. Not talking about it or making sex to be something negative doesn't stop them from engaging in it. It only causes them to make ill-informed choices that can have life-impacting consequences. I agree with this. When I was in the 4th grade, my folks bought me a book called What Do You Want to Know? It explained how male and female bodies work, how babies are made, why woman gets her period, why you should practice safe sex, what to do if you are abused physically, mentally, and sexually, why you should not become pregnant while in high school, why drugs are bad, why smoking is bad, how to look after your body as in exercise and eating right. It had topics on everything. Best thing my folks ever did. I'm 27 and still not pregnant, and I used birth control when I became sexually active at 17, and I am still on birth control as I am studying at the moment and also cannot afford to raise a child right now. If parents want their children to make the right choices, they must know about these things. This is why I gave my cousins 15 the talk. The extent of the talk her mom gave her was * you're going to get a period and bleed every month. *. At almost 15, she honestly believed babies came out the asshole. So I told her how everything works and how to keep herself safe, and the best way, to prevent pregnancy. I want to make sure she's given appropriate info so she's as safe as possible. Y'all should just rename this common sense statements everyone agrees with. Okay, so hear me out. What if parents started turning their kids into weebs? That would keep them from getting laid from the ages of 18 to 30 and would reduce teen pregnancies. Big brain shit. Sorry, but I think school sex ed isn't enough. Parents need to add into the matter too, and need to enforce the fact that the children can talk with them.